This week we're talking all about the PlayStation VR 2, so let's just hop right into it together as a people, of course, and take it out! And welcome to another sensational Sunday. I'm Mike, and yes, this week I'm breaking down the PSVR 2 because I made a video about it a few months ago. It's probably like 6 months ago. It was a while ago when the first rumors came out and the controllers came out, and I gave my speculation and I was like, could it really compete with the Oculus Quest? Well, after these new details came out, I have to say, I gotta switch stances now. I was wrong. Sony, on paper at least, has impressed me. So let's go ahead and talk about the rumored, well, not really rumored, they confirmed it, the PSVR 2 and these specs. So the PSVR 2's resolution per eye is going to be 2000 by 2040, which is like 15.7% more than the Oculus Quest 2. And it's also going to be able to run at either 90 hertz or 120 hertz. It has a 110-degree field of view. It's going to use inside-out tracking. So like the Quest 2 and those other headsets, it's going to have the cameras on the outside, and it's going to use that to map the environment versus using like the PlayStation camera, like the original one, which was a big issue because the tracking sometimes wasn't the strongest. It's going to have internal eye tracking, so it'll be able to track where your eyes are in the headset. The example that Sony gave was like in a game where you're like talking to a character, like maybe the dialogue wouldn't start until you made eye contact with them. It can also technically be used to blur stuff that's not in your direct field of view at the moment, which would save on processing power. Like if they don't have to show everything that you're not looking at, then they can make games run more efficiently, and this will especially help with something like a console. The other big thing that they're adding is haptic feedback. So they gave an example of like, if someone's heart's pulsing because of a tense moment, then you might be able to feel it like in the headset. So they're going to add haptic feedback to a headset, which I've never experienced that before. That's a completely new feature to me personally. So I'm really interested to see what they can do with it. And after looking at the specs, I'm like, you know what? They're really going above and beyond to make this headset the best it can be. And also, I forgot when I was talking about the screen, the screens are going to be OLED, similar to like the first Oculus Quest. The Oculus Quest 2 uses LCD screens. While they still look good, I didn't notice the blacks don't look nearly as good as the first Quest. So I'm glad that they're going to go with OLED screens. Now, on paper, the specs sound really impressive. Like, I was impressed by what Sony presented. I wasn't expecting to get this premium of a headset from Sony because the PSVR 1 was kind of a budget option. But I do think headsets like the Quest and the Quest 2 probably have brought down the price of some of these components to make it more affordable to build it. Now, speaking of price, we don't know what the price is. We don't know what the release date is either. I'm really interested in the eye tracking and the haptics. I think those could be game changers and kind of give you a reason to go over to the PSVR. It is going to be a single cord solution to connect, so probably USB-C to the front of the console because the PS5 already has a USB-C port on the front. Kind of like what they did with the original Quest and the Quest 2 as far as wired connectivity. You just connect one USB-C cable to your computer, and that's it. Now I have a couple of questions that are not going to be answered until this thing actually comes out, most likely. But my first question is, what kind of cable is going to come with in the box? So the reason I asked this is, as someone who had the original Quest and the Quest 2, I started off using like regular, USB-C cables, and they were all right. Well, when Oculus released that official fiber optic cable for Oculus Link, that was like 15 feet. It really is a game changer as far as wire connectivity. I mean, now I've been doing wireless stuff with the Quest if I'm connecting to PC. But before, like if you're using a wire, a fiber optic cable is just a lot lighter and a lot more flexible. It's kind of like just a piece of spaghetti. Like you can just throw that thing around. It's a lot looser. It's a lot easier to maneuver than a regular USB cable. So I'm wondering if they're going to go the fiber route and do a premium cable in the box, do a cheaper cable, or they could also do like a cheaper cable in the box and then have an option where you can buy the premium cable, or they just probably won't care enough, honestly. It's not going to make like a huge difference. It's just a lot lighter and a lot more flexible if you have a fiber optic cable. So I'm wondering if they're going to have that option or not. My next thing is, if this headset is going to be USB-C, will it be PC compatible? Because the thing is, they're still competing with the Quest. There's a few things that I mentioned about the Quest before, like the fact that it's a standalone headset, so the barrier to entry is already going to be lower. Even though this headset sounds really cool and I really dig the features, the barrier to entry to just buying a Quest and being able to put it on, buy games, and play them directly in the headset without having to connect to a console at all is still an advantage, and you still have the full wireless experience. But if this headset can also connect to a PC and be used as a PC headset, this could be a compelling reason to buy it over the Quest, especially if you have a PS5, because realistically, you can play your PS5 exclusives and then you can play everything that's on PC. It would kind of be the best of both worlds. The only thing you couldn't play would be like the Quest exclusive games like Resident Evil 4 and GTA San Andreas when that comes out, because those are exclusives. If it is USB-C, I'm sure you can probably physically connect it to a PC. It's more so if Sony's going to supply drivers to make that work, which they could. They've done it with their controllers. I think it would be smart on their end to do it, because they could also target the people who are just PC gamers who want a good headset. Because with these features, depending on the price, it might be a really compelling PC headset to buy. The other thing I'm wondering is Sony going to continue to invest in PSVR games? Now, they already have 2 games on the horizon, and the reason I say that is because VR isn't as hot as it was when they released the first PlayStation VR, and I always get the fear, kind of like with the Vita, where it's not successful, and they'll pump a little bit of money into it, and then when it's not successful, they're just like, well, you know what, we out, we're not developing any more games. So I hope it doesn't end up like that. I hope this is a huge hit. Of course, right now it's so difficult to get a PS5, so it's also going to limit them if they can't sell systems. I mean, they're selling systems, like they've sold over 15 million. So the systems are being sold. It's just that they can't get as many out to meet the demands. And I feel like this is going to be one of those things too that's going to probably sell out initially. Like, I feel like everyone with a PS5 is probably going to end up wanting to get one of these. So I hope that they do what they did, kind of like with Resident Evil 7, and have some exclusives and create a more competitive landscape for VR. Because right now, I just feel like it's just Oculus. They're the ones who have the biggest buzz. You know, after Half-Life Alyx came out, everything shifted to Valve for a little bit when Half-Life Alyx came out. But still, a lot of people weren't buying Valve headsets because their headset's really expensive. A lot of people were buying the Quest to play that game. So it just feels like hardware-wise, because of the price point, the Oculus has a huge advantage. So I want to see competition in this space. Yeah, exclusive games suck, but also it's good because people are pouring money into the development of VR games. And I feel like it's been a little bit stale, so I'm ready to see that competition pick back up. Now, let's get to the predictions for the price and the release date. So the release date, doing the release date first, I don't know if it'll come out this year. Considering that they didn't show anything about the headset, I don't know if it'll come out this year. But they do have their bigger press conference coming up around E3 time, which, by the way, I was going to cover it as a separate story, but it's not really that big of a deal, so I'll cover it now. E3, they announced this week, is going to be online exclusive again, so there we go. Online press conferences just like last year. I mean, I only watched it online before, so it doesn't make that much of a difference to me, but there we go. There's the story, E3 online. So I think it depends on what they show around E3 time. If they show the headset, I could see it possibly coming out holiday, especially because that's going to be a hot time where people are going to be wanting to spend money on gifts and everything. But yeah, I don't see it coming out before holiday, considering that they haven't even shown what the headset looks like. And if they announce it around E3-ish time, like around summer, then that'll give them a little bit more time to build buzz. Like, I could see them announcing it around like June or July, being like it's releasing in November, right around that Christmas period. If not, it's definitely going to probably be like Q1 of 2023. Now, as far as the price, considering the tech that they're putting into it, I'm going to say I think it's going to be around $400. Now, wishfully, I'm hoping that it would be like around $300 to compete directly with that Oculus Quest price point. It's going to be a little bit difficult to call because the hardware is better than the Quest, but also they're not putting a whole computer inside of it. So it could be $300, but considering they're adding the haptics engine, they're going to have better quality OLED screens. They're probably also going to supply a cable in the box. I don't know. I'm thinking $400. That's just me personally. Hoping for $3, thinking it's probably going to be $4. Either way, I'm personally getting one. I'm already excited about it. I'm excited to see what this new PlayStation VR is like. And I'm not excited to bring this video to a conclusion, but I have to. But I will be back on Wednesday for my 3-year anniversary live stream, which I'm still trying to settle on a time, depending on if I'm working that day or not. So it'll be up. Subscribe so you don't miss it. It'll show up on your little subscription page thing, and it'll be like live stream scheduled for this time. So it'll definitely be on Wednesday. I just don't know what time yet. But until then, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell notification to get notified when I drop a video or a live stream, and always do at least 2 things at the same time. Peace.